This is the OTB Television Network.
Hello and welcome to this edition of International Horses and Courses. I'm Jean Wood. We have had a sequence of very nice races, primarily in Australia. This is a very busy time of the year for the racing action in Australia, but we are going to kick things off here on International HNC by taking a look at the world's richest horse race. We will head back to Meydan Racecourse, the Dubai World Cup at the end of March. A terrific finish. Let's head back to Meydan and the $10 million World Cup.
The first ever $10 million horse race. They're ready. They're racing in the Dubai World Cup. Crowded House a little slow to go. Lizard's Desire dropping back after the break. Gloria de Campeo began well, and More de Pobray and Mastery came out quickly. Twice Over settling just behind the pace, and Vision d'Etat going through in the centre. Then Elibar's White Cap on the rail, followed by Japan's Red Desire. Mr. Brock travelling out deep as Twice Over drifts back. Gaetano Hernando goes up on the rail. A length away, Gio Ponte on the inside of Furthest Land. A length and a half to Lizard's Desire. Richard's Kid is second last, and Crowded House whip the field in as they turn into the back. 1,500 metres left to go, and Gloria de Campeo led by a length and a quarter. Amour de Pobray is second, with Mr. Brock 3/4 of a length away, striding to third. Mastery fourth, one deep on the outside of Ali Bar. A length away is Red Desire on the inside of Twice Over. Gaetano Hernando going up on the rail and 3/4 of a length away. Vision d'Etat's striped colours poking through in the centre. Lizard's Desire, yellow and blue on the fence on the inside of Gio Ponte. Furthest Land from America travelling three wide. 2 lengths to Richard's Kid, and 3/4 of a length away is Crowded House as Gloria de Campeo takes them past the 800 metres mark. Out of the back of the Meydan track, and Gloria de Campeo a half length in front of Amour de Pobray, edging closer. Mr. Brock third, Alibar fourth on the inside. A half length away, Mastery, then Twice Over. Red Desire followed by Gaetano Hernando on the fence, needing luck. Vision d'Etat under pressure from Lizard's Desire. Furthest Land, further back was Crowded House and Richard's Kid as they're in the straight. 350 to run, and Gloria de Campeo in front. Mr. Brock lays down the gauntlet. Twice Over deeper out, then Ali Bar, followed by Gio Ponte and Red's Desire. Gloria de Campeo but led 100 metres to go. Ali Bar into the clear, flashing. Lizard's Desire flashing. Gloria de Campeo in front. Lizard's Desire lunging, and it's tight. Lizard's Desire lunged to Gloria de Campeo. It's a nose finish in the Dubai World Cup. Alibar's run third, and then Gaetano Hernando, Mastery.
Gloria de Campo had his nose down on the wire. It took a solid 5-10 minutes, really, before they were able to come up with an official result here. But Gloria de Campo, who had been second in this race in the last 2 years, gets the victory, turning the tables on a couple of horses in here who he had faced in recent action. And Lizard's Desire, one of them, rallies well to finish second. Ali Bar in the third spot, but tremendous performance by this international campaigner, Gloria de Campo, who we saw run second well-armed last year. Off of that effort, he headed to Asia for the Singapore Cup. By now, he has in fact been returned to France, which is his home base for trainer Pascal Barry, and he will be looking to repeat in the Singapore Cup in the coming weeks. The winner, Gloria de Campo, is a 7-year-old bay son of Impression from Audacity by Clax and bred in Brazil by the Ara Santaro. He's owned by the Estrela Energia stable and is trained by Pascal Barry, ridden to victory by Brazilian Tiago Pereira. Gloria de Campo covers the about distance of 1.25 miles in 2:03.83. We'll head to Hong Kong next for a couple of major races heading back to the 14th of March. We'll start things out with the Queen's Silver Jubilee Cup for sprinters going 7 furlongs.
Young Elite first up since November, went in ahead of him and now they're boxed. Ready to run. Racing, good level line out. Sight Winner and Happy Zero, the first two into stride. Egyptian Ra's there and Regency Dragon's there, and he's got the advantage of the rails, and Chadwick takes Regency Dragon through to eyeball Egyptian Ra. Sight Winner will take the sit. Sunny King's handy on the fence. Two further back to Happy Zero. Young Elite's travelling strongly from Armada, and Fellowship has switched off last and about 8 lengths off the leader, which is now Egyptian Ra. Coetzee was pretty patient with him in the early part, and he's rolled to the front with consummate ease. Out by a length and a half to Regency Dragon. Sitting up in third, Sight Winner without cover around Sunny King. Two further back to Happy Zero, then Young Elite from Armada, and going between runners Fellowship, inching closer as they race down the side of the course. And an uncontested lead for Egyptian Ra. Last year's winner at the 600 metres, striding along by 2 on Regency Dragon. Then Sight Winner from Sunny King. Beeman starting to feel for Happy Zero on the turn. Then came Armada. Further back to Young Elite, and Fellowship's last looking to get into the clear. Now let's see if Coetzee can repeat last year's performance on Egyptian Ra. But here's Happy Zero responding to the urging. Fellowship goes with him. Happy Zero heads off Egyptian Ra. Fellowship's in for the fight. Happy Zero a half length on Fellowship. Here's a great struggle in the Queen's Silver Jubilee Cup. Happy Zero ahead on Fellowship. Happy Zero, Fellowship lunges. Oh, maybe the zero.
Happy Zero gets the victory in the absence of Sacred Kingdom. He does end up picking up a very solid win here. He had been third behind Sacred Kingdom in the Chairman's Sprint Prize in his prior start, and is now being considered for a possible assault on Royal Ascot. And they have a couple of sprint races during that short meet that are very, very big races of international quality. Happy Zero and perhaps a couple of the others from this race and may end up pointing there. Happy Zero scores the victory over Fellowship, who perhaps going a little shorter than his very best distance. Sunny King completes the order of the top 3. Happy Zero is the son of Danzero from Have Love by Canny Lad. He was bred in Australia and is owned by David Philip Bain, trained by John Moore and ridden to victory by Darren Beedman. Happy Zero covers the about distance of 7 furlongs on the turf in 121.83. Next up, the $2 million Hong Kong Derby at 1.25 miles.
As Beauty Flash continues to firm in betting, he's into 3.1, and here we go. They jump in front of the grandstand, and they're racing in the Derby of 2010, and Fair Trade immediately being restrained. Appreciation's being restrained as well. Grand Dragon hit the gates running. He's going to lead comfortably from Beauty Flash, and Tuscan Spirit strides up the outside. Then Super Pistachio, Brave Kitty's inside and straightforward, scrubbed up to go forward. Then Beauty Legend, stablemate Super Saturn behind him. 2 further back to Irigan. Then Little Dreams from Jolly Good, and the last 2 Appreciation and Fair Trade as they work to the back. And it's the long price Grand Dragon in front for Jeff Lloyd. He sits up now with Straightforward rushing up the outside, and Straightforward sits outside Grand Dragon. Tuscan Spirit takes the sit in third, Beauty Flash fourth, then Super Pistachio from Brave Kid and Beauty Legend. King Dancer is handier on the fence, just shading Super Saturn. 3 lengths further back to Irigan, then Jolly Good from Little Dreams. 2 further back to Appreciation, and Fair Traders last at about a dozen lengths off the leader, which is the long shot Grand Dragon. Running along a length clear from Straightforward, Beauty Flash with cover in third from Tuscan Spirit. Then Super Pistachio on the outside of Brave Kid. Further back to Beauty Legend. Then the Derby trial winner King Dancer. 3/4 to Super Saturn. Dye gets going now on Fair Trade at the 900 metres. From Jolly Good, the German Cold Irians third last from Little Dreams, and Appreciation's last of all is Grand Dragon leads down the side of the course by a length and a half to Tuscan Spirit, who makes his move getting closer. Super Pistachio gets going as well. Then Straightforward, Beauty Flash 1 away from the fence, and Dye's pinched a lot of ground on Fair Trade. He's 6 as they round the corner. Further back to Super Saturn, and Irian pulls to the outside. Grand Dragon being tackled now by Tuscan Spirit and Super Pistachio. Beauty Flash needs a run. Brave Kid's working his way into the clear, getting underneath Fair Trade and Super Saturn to the outside. Super Saturn's going after Super Pistachio. Brave Kid between them. Super Pistachio and Super Saturn. Super Pistachio and Super Saturn. A great duel here in the Derby. They're wide apart. Super Saturn lunges at Super Pistachio and got him.
Super Satin getting the victory from well back off the pace, rallying from fairly far back in the field over Super Pistachio, with Brave Kid back in the third spot. Brave Kid going into this race had been an undefeated runner, so obviously some pretty nice horses in the running here. We do have kind of an interesting note as well about Super Pistachio. This is a horse that has actually run in the United States and did so under the name Westphalia. He was second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf a couple of years ago, as Westphalia has been purchased privately and is running in Hong Kong now under the name Super Pistachio. Super Satin, a nice effort off of a disappointing second last time out in the Derby trial, turns the tables here. He is a New Zealand-bred son of Danehill Dancer from Mantle's Princess by Rock City, scoring the victory under Doug White for trainer Casper Phones. Super Satin covers the about distance of 1.25 miles in 2:03.59. We will head to Japan now, and the beginning of the year a little bit on the quiet side in terms of Group 1 company in Japan, but one of the biggest sprints ran at the end of March. This is the Takamatsuno Miya Kinen. Let's head now to Japan and the Chukyo Racecourse.
And the last one goes in. They're just about set. Stand by. And they're racing in the Takamatsuno Miya Kinen. Along the inside, 7C Queen began well. BB Guldan out wide as well, commenced nicely. In the middle is Asian Tiger. Pressing on is Premium Box. Up there is Headliner as well. Just along the fence, I'll Love again. Out a little wide is Asian Tiger. Kinshasa no Kaseki not too far away with Shonan Kazan. Along the fence, Ultima Thule slightly better than midfield. Just in behind it, Kanoya Zakura. Outside then for Fine Grain. Trapped out a little wide, but starting to move into it now is Asian Forward. A gap to Suzuka Causeway. A long way back is Tosho Courage. Outside it is Premium Box. Pulling out wider even now is Premium Box. Inside it is San Carlo. And last of all is Pisano Patek. They get down with 400 metres to run in the Takamatsuno Miya Kinen. 7C Queen leads. Along the outside of it, run along is Headliner. Down the middle of the track is Asian Tiger, Kinshasa no Kaseki, and BB Guldan coming into it. Out wider is Kanoya Zakura, and running on late is Premium Box and Suzuka Causeway. 200 metres to run, Kinshasa no Kaseki, BB Guldan late on the scene, Ultima Thule. Kinshasa no Kaseki scores from BB Guldan. Third, maybe Ultima Thule. The flying finish from Premium Box. San Carlo is there as well. Gee, it's a tight finish for the minor placings.
Kinshasa no Kiseki getting the victory. This was his first Group 1 win, but I know he's been hanging around in pretty good Group 1 company because I know we've seen him here on previous editions of Horses and Courses. He scores over BB Golden and Asian Forward to complete his first ever Group 1 win. A very nice effort by Kinshasa no Kiseki, who has now put himself into a pretty serious group of sprinters and covering the time in covering the distance rather in pretty quick time. The winner is a 7-year-old son of Fuji Kiseki from Keltshan by Pleasant Colony. He is owned by Kazumi Yoshida, trained by Nobuyuki Hori and ridden to victory by Hiromuni Shi. Kinshasa no Kiseki covers the 6 furlongs, again the about distance, in 108.60. We'll head to Australia now, and we've got a lot of great racing from down under, and we will begin with Flemington Racecourses, 2 postponed races. You may remember the last edition of Horses and Courses on the international side. There were a couple of races that were kind of left hanging by a tremendous thunderstorm that brought a tremendous amount of hail and canceled the remainder of a very nice card of Group 1 races in Flemington. So we'll pick up that card now. We're going back to the 13th of March in a pair of Group 1s, beginning with the Australian Guineas at the about distance of 1 mile.
Most immediate now getting a little toey. Denman stands okay. They're off and racing now. And oh, gee, he missed the start a little bit, Denman. He seemed to bob his head and he was slow by almost a length, and he kicks forward now. Guru Bob Carrara first out from Set for Fame, retaining the inside. Booting around them now, Denman. He's going to get up and sit outside of Guru Bob, who has the lead. As they settle fully, Guru Bob by neck, Denman, who gets up outside of him now, and Carrara box seating third. Set for Fame a length away fourth, wants to over race a little there, it appeared. They're followed further back in the field about a length away to Rock Classic, and he's trailed then by Chief of Staff, most immediate, and 2 lengths away was Linton. At the 1,000, Guru Bob by about a neck here. The odds-on favourite Denman running second, a length and a half. Carrara third, Set for Fame fourth. A length further back in the field then came Rock Classic, being trailed a length and a half, most immediate, and over on the inside Chief of Staff, and 2 lengths away is Linton as the Guineas field is on the swing for home, and McAvoy now allowing Denman a little more rain, and he takes a slender lead from Guru Bob. Carrara right behind them with Set for Fame. Rock Classic on the outside, they're swinging for home now. They're followed by most immediate, Chief of Staff, and still 2 lengths to Linton at the end of the field. Denman leading narrowly. Carrara goes with him on the outside. Set for Fame getting up on the rail, and here's Rock Classic. He swamps him on the outside now. Denman under siege at the 200. Rock Classic race to him. Set for Fame getting up on the inside. Wider Linton coming, but it's Rock Classic in front with 100 to go. Kicked away by a length and a half. Set for Fame trying hard, but Rock Classic part wins it. Rock Classic beats Set for Fame by a length. Linton a length third. Denman back in 4th placing.
Rock Classic, a nice effort by this horse, scoring in the Guineas. This is a horse that had been running a little bit greenly in a little bit lesser company with Group 2 and Group 3 horses. He had kind of ducked in and ducked out, was looking at his rivals. They added blinkers and a new bit, what's called a Norton bit, to give the rider a little bit more control. And here steps up and wins the Australian Guineas very nicely for trainer Bart Cummings, who of course is a kind of like the senior dean of Australian racing. He is, I guess, on par with an Alan Jerkins and so on and so forth. He's won just about all of the big ones, and here scores very nicely with a 3-year-old gelding over Set for Fame with Linton back in 3rd. Favored Denman, a little bit disappointing in this effort, finishing 4th, but not a bad try, and a horse that does look like one worth keeping your eye on. The winner, Rock Classic, is a 3-year-old gelded son of Fastnet Rock from Midnight Ballet by Paintra Celebra. Trained by Bart Cummings and ridden to victory by Michael Rodd, Rock Classic covers the about distance of 1 mile and 136.80. Next up, older horses in the 1 1/4 Australian Cup.
Set to go for the Cup. 2,000 metres. They're off and racing. And the starter caught them pretty well. Extra Zero and Laturio ease out of the early hustle and bustle. Barbaricus is going forward and leads early from Heart of Dreams, and going forward on the outside, Divine Rebel, followed by Zarita, and then Heart of Dreams as they settle into stride, followed by Master O'Reilly, Miss Marin, Tabik back on the inside, and then Zipping caught a little wide, followed by Growl and Zagreb, and back behind them is Sermione, trailed by Extra Zero, the rail. Laturio caught out 3 wide as they go up to the 1,400 metres, and Moatees brings up the rear. Barbaricus has the front, 1,400 to go. Almost a length in front of Divine Rebel, about 3.5 lengths away is Zarita third, and then Heart of Dreams. A neck Miss Marin on the outside, 2 lengths to Beak, and then Master O'Reilly, 1 Zagreb, and they're followed by Growl and Zipping on the outside. A length and a half Extra Zero, and then Laturio and Sermione, who's back second last, and last his stablemate 2 or 3 lengths away is Moatees. Barbaricus has the lead, 1,000 metres to go in the Australian Cup. He's 3/4 of a length clear. Divine Rebel running second, 2 lengths away. Heart of Dreams, a beautiful trail on the inside of Zarita. A length and a half further back, Miss Marin to Beak, and they're followed by Zipping's been wide all the way. He improves his place at the 800. Then Master O'Reilly's a Greb, and they're followed by Laturio, Growl, Extra Zero, Sermione. He's still second last, sweeping up towards the turn, and Moatees. They're about to swing for home. Barbaricus being joined by Miss Marin out wide. Zarita and Divine Rebel are there. They stretch across the track about 4. Followed further back in the field by Heart of Dreams, looking for the way clear. Extra Zero was next, and Zipping under the whip, and Laturio putting in a run, and Sermione coming down the outside now. 250 metres to go. Divine Rebel, Barbaricus down on the inside. Zipping, Laturio, Sermione and Miss Marin coming out wide. They're right across the track, and here it's Zipping and Sermione from Heart of Dreams. Sermione and Zipping. Sermione's getting to Zipping. Sermione, Zipping, kicked nearly a dead heat between them. Zipping and Sermione. Close for third too. Heart of Dreams the inside, and Moatees flashed home out wide.
Zipping getting the victory. This was this 8-year-old's first Group 1 win. Again, he's a horse that has been hanging around with some pretty good horses. He's been fourth twice in the Melbourne Cup. He was third in the Group 1 McKinnon, which is also a very important event, has amassed over $3.3 million in career earnings in Australian funds. So obviously he has been spending quite a bit of time with good horses. Finally gets that elusive first Group 1 win, scoring over Sirmione, with Moatize back in third. The winner, Zipping, is an 8-year-old gelded son of Danehill from Social Scene by Grand Lodge. He is trained by Robert Hickmott and ridden to victory by Nicholas Hall. Zipping covers the 1.25 miles in 2:03.69. We'll pause for a brief message. When we return, we'll have more great group racing from Australia. Please stay with us. Welcome back to International Horses and Courses. We'll continue with racing from Australia, and we will head to Randwick Racecourse March 13th, hosting the Group 1 Randwick Guineas at about 1 mile.
They're all in. 3-year-olds are set. And they're off and racing. Shootout didn't begin all that well. He's back second last. Delago Bolt came out slowly. And Viking Legend went through early to take the lead from Gathering. And then Sir Halliwell is up on the bridle in third spot early, followed by Captain Sonador. Going around the outside, Cosmocrat, Monton improving, and Leicester Square's going forward as well. Indian Ocean back about midfield. Now Shootout's picked up some ground, and then came More Than Great going around the outside of them from Run for Nara. Well back was Hanks, and then Kidnapped, and Zabraziv and Delago Bolt tailed off. Into the first turn, they got about 1,000 to go, and Gathering worked his way to the lead, led by about 3/4 of a length. Monton sitting up second. Viking Legend settling better today with the blinkers off. He's third on the inside from Leicester Square. Sir Halliwell next, and then came at the head of the others Captain Sonador. Going up on the rail, Indian Ocean, followed by Cosmocrat, and then Shootout, who's midfield on the outside of Run for Nara. Back behind those horses next, Hanks with More Than Great, followed by Zabraziv, and then Kidnapped is about to start a run, and Delago Bolt is last. Coming up towards the home turn, they're about to swing now in the Guineas, and Gathering led from Monton on the outside, Leicester Square outside them. Viking Legend waits for a run, followed by Indian Ocean. Sir Halliwell coming on strongly down the outside, and Shootout's trying to force into the clear. Monton went to the lead from Gathering. Viking Legend's out. Run for Nara going back to the inside. Cosmocrat coming with Zabraziv. They're everywhere here. Monton just in front. Viking Legend and Shootout. Shootout dropped on them and won the Guineas. Shootout got up to win it from Viking Legend. Three-way go for third. We've got Captain Sonador, Run for Nara, and Zabraziv.
Shootout scores the victory. A very nice effort for Shootout as he picks up a very nice Group 1 win. He was boxed in on the turn, had all kinds of traffic trouble. When he finally got free, it looked like he lost his footing momentarily, but he ends up picking up the victory nonetheless over Viking Legend, with Captain Sonador back in the third spot. Zabraziv back at fourth, and we're going to see him once again in a couple of weeks on the program. Obviously a couple of minutes here on the program, but in a couple of weeks' time, as the Australian horses tend to run back on a fairly steady basis once the season kicks into high gear. A nice effort by Shootout, who will now be pointed for the Rose Hill Guineas, which is run only 1 week following the Randwick Guineas. Shootout is a 3-year-old gelded son of High Chaparral from Pentamaris by Paintra. He is trained by John Wallace and ridden to victory by Stati Kastidis. Shootout covers the about distance of 1 mile in a brisk 134.94. We'll continue with racing action now at Rose Hill Gardens, and some tremendous racing. Their autumn, our springtime, obviously, and we'll go back to the 20th of March for the Ranvet Stakes at 1.25 miles.
They're set to go, and they're racing. As they appear in view, Moatees was outsped towards the tail shortly after the start. The favourites about midfield, Thessia going forward. It's Divine Rebel and Purple, the leaders on settling down. The New Zealand mare Daffodil showing some early speed. Rangi Rangdu not all that far away, and here comes Thessio starting to thunder up on the outside to attack for the lead. Followed by Speed Gifted, and then came Road to Rock, Alco Pop and No Wine, No Sire. Roman Emperor patiently ridden early on, gets well back. So too does Moatees, and last of all is Latorio. So Nash heads them off on Thessio as they run to the back straight, 1400 to go, and raced away and led by a couple of lengths. Road to Rock was out wide, and he's starting to press forward into second. Then came Purple and Daffodil. So the two mares are up in handy spots. A couple of lengths to Rangi Rangdu. It looks to have settled well for Clark back in 5th. He's about 5 lengths off the lead. And then Speed Gifted, followed by Divine Rebel. Then No Wine, No Song from Alco Pop. Roman Emperor next. He's on the inside of the stablemate Moatees, and last of all is Latorio. At the halfway mark and past it now, and the favourites on top, Thessio, led out by about 1.5 lengths on Road to Rock and Purple, 3/4 Daffodil. Then came Rangi Rangdu on the outside of Speed Gifted from No Wine, No Song. A Nectar Divine Rebel. At the head of the others, Roman Emperor and Alco Pop, followed by Moatees, who's second last, just starting to be niggered along at the moment. Latorio last of all. It's Thessio still in control, coming up towards the bend. Nothing worry him at the moment, and as they're about to swing, he leads by a length on Road to Rock, Purple, Speed Gifted, and then Daffodil, Rangi Rangdu, Clark biding his time, about to pop the question as they turn for home. Thessio led at the 300 from Road to Rock and Daffodil. Rangi Rangdu coming to the centre, Speed Gifted getting up on the inside, but they've still got to get Thessio. Rangi Rangdu comes after him on the outside. It's Thessio the leader from Rangi Rangdu and Daffodil. Thessio is digging deep. He's fighting on like a caged lion, and Thessio wins the money from Rangi Rangdu. Speed Gifted got third, and then came Daffodil, followed by No Wine, No Sire.
Thessio, this is another popular old-timer that's been around for a long, long time. We've seen him in a number of routes and extended route races over the course of years. At the age of 6, he is still firing very well for trainer Gay Waterhouse. Here he scores over a Ranger Rendu and Speed Gifted. The pedigrees on the top 3 finishers here all looking like horses that would certainly go a route of ground, and Thessio no exception. He's returning to win this race. He won it last year. He won the Chipping Norton Stakes, a Group 2, over the runner-up in here 2 weeks back. So obviously, as mentioned, they do run their horses quite often once they get them fit. Thessio, a 6-year-old gelded son of Dane Wynn from Ozone Sand by L'Angelure, is trained by Gay Waterhouse, ridden to victory by Nash Rawler. He covers the 1.25 miles in 2:02.33. We'll continue with more Australian racing with the Coolmore Classic, run on the 20th at Rose Hill Gardens.
Trouble in close, I think. They're off now. And Palaciota Crystal walked out of the stalls as she usually does. She missed it by a couple of lengths. Alberta sprung out of the gates very quickly, and it's rushing forward with the 3-year-old Irish Lights who'll take the lead. So Irish Lights led from Alberta on its outside. Lady Lynette began much better today and is settling on their back, and Messenger goes around the outside, and Goldwater starting to pick up ground, going up to make a line of 4 for the lead. Then came Dane Julia on the back of the leaders with Miss Marielle, Ivory Pegasus, So Anyway, and Strawberry Field. Herder Myrtle Metal back behind them. Looks like it's out a little bit wide from Narrowly and Extreme, and then came Prima Nova, LA Wonder. Faint Perfumes got back to second last, and Palacio de Crystal after that. Port Starters back at the rear. Messenger took up the running as they worked down the side of the track. Goldwater on its outside. Irish Lights poised behind them, and so too is Alberta. Miss Marielle out very wide. Then Dane Julia. Lady Lynette back on the inside at about 7th spot, followed by So Anyway. Ivory Pegasus, Strawberry Field. Hurdle Myrtle's had a very tough run, and then Prima Nova, followed by Narrowly, and at the head of the others, Faint Perfume coming to the extreme outside. It's Goldwater hitting the front. Alberta is chasing it on the outside, and they've sprinted away from Irish Lights. Hurdle Myrtle starting to run on, followed by Dane Julia, but Alberta raced up and hit the lead in the Coolmore, sprinted away from Goldwater. Then came Hurdle Myrtle, Lady Lynette, Palacio de Crystal, but Alberta takes out the Group 1, beat Goldwater. Palacio de Crystal got third, and then Narrowly, followed by LA Wonder, and then came Hurdle Myrtle.
Alberta scores the victory. A nice effort by this 6-year-old mare over a pretty good group of mares. This was kind of an interesting horse. She had been passed as a yearling for having had crooked legs and returned to her breeder, Arrowfield Stud. They kept her at the racetrack for a couple of years. She was Group 1 placed, although she had not managed to earn any graded wins herself. She had placed well against good horses. At the end of last season, they sent her into the stud. She was bred a couple of times, failed to conceive, and was sent back to the races. She came back, scored a Group 2 win in the Breeders' Classic back in February, and now steps up in Group 1 company and picks up the win in the $500,000 plus Coolmore Classic over Goldwater with Palacio de Crystal after a very poor start, rallying well to finish third. Alberta is a 6-year-old daughter of Flying Spur from Greece by Rahi. Bred by the Arrowfield Stud, trained by Paul Massara, who is the son of one of the managing partners of Arrowfield Stud. He earned his first Group 1 victory as a trainer with this training effort. Ty England in the irons, and Alberta covers the 7.5 in 128.55. Next up, we will head back to Rose Hill and the Group 1 1.25 Rose Hill Guineas.
Now he's about to let them go. Racing in the Guineas. And Cosmocrat began awkwardly. He's missed the start by about a length and a half or so, and Gathering came out fast and will take the early lead. Rock Classics up in a forward spot with Zabrasive shortly after the start. So Zabrasive racing a lot closer this afternoon, settles down second. Rock Classic is third. And then came Cosmocrat, who's back in the field. In fact, it's Captain Sonador just going up into fourth spot, followed by Run for Nara. At the head of the others, Shootout, who's on the outside of St. Incosta, and further back behind them next as they settle down Extra Zero. And going back to last of all is Cosmocrat. So as they work around the first corner and they settle down at the end of 600 metres, and Gathering led by a length and a half. So Abrasive right on his tail, Rock Classic in third spot. And then Captain Sonador, who's covering up Run for Nara, followed by Shootout, who's directly behind those horses. St. Incosta on the inside, and 2 lengths to Extra Zero is on the outside of Cosmocrat, and those two race at the rear of the field. So Gathering, as they run up towards the 1,000, led out by a length and a half. So Abrasive in a nice spot second, Rock Classic third. And then came Captain Sonador, followed by Run for Nara, the only filly in the field, settling back along the inside in fifth, followed by the favourite Shootout. It's racing on the outside of St. Incosta. Extra Zero second last, and Cosmocrat is last of all. Down the side they come, 7.50 to go, and Cassidy going a little bit quicker now on Gathering. He's trying to break the field up. Zabrasive starting Ryan on its tail, and then about 2 lengths to Rock Classic. Captain Sonador about to let loose around the outside, and then came St. Incosta, followed by Run for Nara. Shootout next. Catsitas pulling it to the outside to make its run now as they turn for home, and the leader as they run down with about 350 to go is Gathering from Zabrasive. Rock Classic is now pulled to the centre of the track by Rod. Zabrasive moved up and took the lead now as they come to the 200. Rock Classic a big danger on the outside, however. Rock Classic coming at Zabrasive. It's a 2-horse war. Zabrasive on the inside. Rock Classic's got his measure. Rock Classic went up on the outside, put his head in front. Zabrasive came back. It's a photo. Rock Classic looked like he was going to win, but Zabrasive kicked back right on the line. Very tight finish.
Keep in mind, this is only a week after the running of the Randwick Guineas, and many of the same horses are back, and it was Abrasive, who had finished fourth in his prior start, getting the victory over Rock Classic, who was the winner of the Randwick Guineas 7 days earlier. Run for Nara, a 3-year-old filly, a daughter of More Than Ready, in fact, covering the getting the third spot as Shootout. Also coming in off of recent freshening, gets the fourth spot rather. So obviously these horses come back on a fairly regular basis. It can make it a little tricky in terms of placing the races on HNC. We like to show them in the order in which they were run, if it's at all possible. And that way you get a little bit of an idea of the horses leading into some of the biggest events. The Rose Hill Guineas at 1.25 miles, a very important prep race for the AJC Derby at Randwick on April 10th, which we will have for you at the end of the program. Zabrasive is a 3-year-old gelded son of Zabeel from Danesia by Danehill. He's trained by John O'Shea and ridden to victory by Nash Rawiller. Scoring his first victory at the 2,000 meters distance, he covers the distance in 2:04.54. We'll pause for one more brief message, and when we return, we'll continue with racing from Rose Hill and then wrap things up with the Derby meeting from Randwick. Please stay with us. Welcome back to International Horses and Courses. We will continue now with racing action from Rose Hill. We're going to step forward to the 3rd of April and a very big day of racing at Rose Hill, kicking things off. Fillies in the Vinery Stud Stakes.
And they're just about ready to go. Starter picks up the button. Racing this time. Little Surfer Girl came out poorly. She settled at the back of the field. Mirasalo and Small Minds began well. Going out quickly was Once Were Wild, and No Evidence Needed is rushing forward looking for the lead as well, followed by Valdemoro. Set for Fame starting to pick up ground around the outside, which is a little bit wide in the early stages. Absolute Faith behind it, followed by Ingeniously. Indian Ocean back along the inside, Slapstick in the centre. Then came Faint Perfume. Now she's back in front of about 5 runners. Magic Model with her, followed by Run for Nara, Little Surfer Girl, and last of all is Ocean Dream. They run into the back, and Once Were Wild went to the lead and took over and led from No Evidence Needed. Set for Fame is still posted out 3 wide, and Nolan's starting to go forward to try and get in. Then came Mirasalo. Valdemoro's found a nice spot 5th, a couple of lengths behind them. Small Minds, Indian Ocean, followed by Absolute Faith, and then a couple of lengths to Slapstick at the head of the others. Then came a Magic Model, followed by Ingeniously, as this field starts to really string out now. Faint Perfume's well back with Run for Nara, Little Surfer Girl, and last of all is Ocean Dream. They're inside the 1,000 and going to the side, and Nash starting to quicken up now, and Once Were Wild leads by a couple of lengths on Set for Fame, who's worked in closer and runs up behind the leader now. Mirasalo third, No Evidence Needed next. At the head of the others, Valdemoro, then Small Minds, Indian Ocean being pushed along, followed further back in behind them by Absolute Faith, and then Slapstick. Further back was Magic Model. Faint Perfume's giving this leader a huge start. Then Ingeniously, Run for Nara still a long way back and is being hard ridden, followed by Little Surfer Girl and Ocean Dream. There's about 20 lengths first to last here. Once Were Wild led with Set for Fame coming after it, and Valdemoro is scorching down the centre of the track out after them. Then came Small Minds and Faint Perfume from the backs running on. Valdemoro hit the lead inside the 200. Faint Perfume comes on strongly into second. It's Valdemoro the leader. Faint Perfume is going after it very strongly. Valdemoro on the inside. Faint Perfume grabbed it on the line. Faint Perfume got there and beat Valdemoro. Absolute Faith third. Then came Small Minds, followed by Once Were Wild.
Faint Perfume scoring the victory, and it does look like she will probably stay with fillies. We see a lot of the Australian fillies do move in against the colts, but I guess they figured that this rather smallish and somewhat delicate filly is better suited with her own gender. She scores the victory over Valdemoro with Absolute Faith back in the third spot. Faint Perfume is a 3-year-old daughter of Chamerdal from Zona by Zabeel. She is trained by Bart Cummings and ridden to victory by Michael Rod. Faint Perfume covers the about distance of 1.25 miles in 2:02.53. We will continue now once again going sprint distances, fillies and mares in the Queen of the Turf.
They're all set. And they're racing in the Queen of the Turf, and narrowly missed the start. She was a little bit tardy, and she'll settle at the rear of the field. Montana Flyer began well and took up the running from Typhoon Tracy, so the favourite came out very quickly, and she's up in second spot early on. On the outside, Responses striding up into third, followed by Miss Marielle, then Majestic Music. Now going up along the inside is Benicia, followed by LA Wonder. Strawberry Field is further back, followed by Illuminates, and then came Narrowly, who after that slow start is going to settle well back in the field. She's second last, and Extreme is last of all. Montana Flyer taking them around the first bend as they run to the 900, and Typhoon Tracy lobs straight onto its tail in second spot, 2 lengths to Miss Marielle. Responses got in closer after covering a little bit of ground early on. Then came Benicia, followed further back by LA Wonder. It's a racing in the company there of Majestic Music is out very wide on the track, narrowly saving ground on the inside, and then Strawberry Field, Illuminate, and Extreme is back last of all. Montana Flyer the leader by 2 or 3. Nolan still has a big hold on Typhoon Tracy. He's taken to the centre of the track. Then Miss Marielle, followed by Response, and at the head of the others next Benicia. Montana Flyer in front, Typhoon Tracy on the outside. Hands and heels at the moment. Now he starts to feel for the whip. She quickly moves up and takes the lead from Montana Flyer. Then Miss Marielle, Response, Illuminates coming down the outside. But Typhoon Tracy is well clear. Illuminates is charging late. He sits up, but she's head and shoulders above them. Typhoon Tracy beat Illuminates, Montana Flyer third, then Strawberry Field, followed by Extreme and Miss Marielle, then Narrowly, followed further back by Benicia.
Typhoon Tracy continuing her run for Horse of the Year honors, earns her 5th Group 1 race win of the season. Another very big performance from Typhoon Tracy, who just seems to be running over the top of everybody she faces. Here she scores over Illuminates with Montana Flyer back in the third spot. She does look like she is probably going to be pointing for a race at the end of April. April 24th, in fact, is expected to be her next start in the Group 1 All-Age Stakes at Sydney, but obviously firm plans not necessarily made at the time of the running of the Queen of the Turf. She does continue to dominate. Typhoon Tracy is a 4-year-old daughter of Red Ransom from Tracy's Element by Last Tycoon. She is trained by Peter Moody and ridden to victory by Luke Nolan. Typhoon Tracy covers the about distance of 7.5 furlongs in 129.95. Next up, major Group 1 horses in the BMW at 1.5 miles.
Growl's getting his head down. Now he stands better. They're off and racing, and they came out well apart from Latorio, who missed it by a length and a half. Purple began well with Thessio, Speed Gifted. Roman Emperor going up on the outside. Divine Rebel and No Wine, No Song are punching up near the inside as they come down past the stand, and Thessio will take up the lead. So the favourite goes past the judge the first time in advance of No Wine, No Song. Then Purple on the outside. Divine Rebel slots in behind them. Harris Tweed in a handy spot, and Speed Gifted Gifted parked out 3 wide going around the first bend, and Roman Emperor's even wider. They're 3 and 4 deep, that pair, followed by Zarvid, and then came Moatees. Daffodil back third last on the fence, and then came Latorio, and Growlers last of all. The favourite Thesio takes him up the side of the track at the 1600, leads out from Speed Gifted, who's come across to sit in second spot. Roman Emperor pressing forward around the outside after doing some early work, and then came over on the inside, No Wine, No Song, followed by Harris Tweed, fifth on the fence, and then Purple. Zarvit's out very wide on the track, followed by Divine Rebel and Daffodil. Then came Moatees, Latorio, and Growlers back last of all. Thesio the leader as they run along the back, led out by a couple of lengths on Roman Emperor, who slots in a little bit closer now. He goes up into second to shade No Wine, No Song. Then came Speed Gifted, Harris Tweed the Kiwi back along the inside, followed by Zarvid, who's still caught out wide. Purple keeps punching up underneath her to keep it out there, and then Daffodil is over on the fence, followed by Divine Rebel. Then at the head of the others, Latorio. Moatees is second last and 2 lengths to Growl. They come down with about 900 to go, and the favourites on top, Thesio. He ran second in the race last year, looking to go one better in 2010, led by a length and a quarter. Roman Emperor, No Wine, No Song. David is striding up into fourth, but he's had a very tough run. Then Speed Gifted, Purple starting a run. Harris Tweed biding its time back on the fence. Then came Daffodil, Divine Rebel. Moatees a long way back with Latorio, and Growlers last of all. Thesio led. Zarvit comes up on the outside to eyeball him, and then came No Wine, No Song. Harris Tweed running up behind them. Speed Gifter's gone, and Purple down the outside, but Nash said, let's go, boy, and Thesio's the leader at the 300. No Wine, No Song's coming after him quickly on the outside, and then came Zarvit, and Daffodil's running on. Latorio and Growl, any one of about 4 or 5 here, with Zarvit fighting on strongly, and Latorio drops on him on the outside, and Latorio won the BMW. Latorio has won it from Zarvit. I think No Wine, No Song got third, just in front of Thesio, who couldn't hold them off, followed by Harris Tweed and Growl.
Latorio, good to see this guy back in the winner's circle. This was his first win since 2008 in the Trumbull Stakes, but he had been keeping some fairly good company. A little bit of a roller coaster day and effort for this horse, whose co-owner, Mark Barrett, was not able to attend. He is very seriously ill, suffering from leukemia. His son, Tim, who is the co-owner, was there representing them, and obviously very happy to be able to accept the trophy and see him win, and stated that he was sure that his father was going to certainly be somewhat enlivened by this performance. A very nice effort by Latorio to score over Zavit, the winner of the Auckland Cup, with No Wine, No Song back in third. And yes, that was Thesio coming in off of his nice performance only a couple of weeks earlier, settling for the 4th spot. The winner, Latorio, is a 5-year-old gelded son of Bellotto from our Centesea by Centane. He's trained by Nigel Blackiston, owned by Mark and Tim Barrett, and ridden by Craig Williams. Latorio covers the about distance of 1 mile in 2:29.38. Next up, back to 7.5 furlongs and Group 1 company in the George Ryder.
All in the gates. They're set, they're off and racing, and Palacio de Crystal jumped okay today. She's back second or third last. Walkie or Dancing and King Mufasa were the best out, with King Mufasa going through to hit the lead. Sniper's Bullet between them in third spot. Then the 3-year-old Tickets rolling up into a handy position, followed by Dow Dow. Heart of Dreams was next from Vision and Power. Last year's winner settling back on the rail, followed further back in behind them by Black Piranha. Also in that group as they settle down, we've got El Segundo, followed by Dan Lee. Further back behind them next is Mr. Baritone, followed by Triple Honour, and Palacio de Crystal is last of all. The leader is King Mufasa, and it slipped away and led by a length and a half. Sniper's Bullet second, followed by Tickets and Heart of Dreams. Then came further back behind them next, Walking or Dancing, Dow Dow in the middle, Vision and Power on the rail. Racing with it El Segundo, followed by Black Piranha. He's racing out a little bit wide, but he's got some cover, followed by Dan Lee. He's going to try and thread his way through the field. Mr. Baritone back on the rail from Triple Honour, and Palacio de Crystal Crystal last of all, giving the leaders about 8 lengths start. They bunch up on the turn, and King Mufasa out wide is joined by Tickets on its inside, and then Sniper's Bullet. Dow looking for a run, but he's in a bumping duel, and then Heart of Dreams, and Dan Lee's made up a lot of ground very quickly down the outside. It's King Mufasa getting the better at Tickets. Dan Lee and Dow are starting to thunder down the outside. Dan Lee's got a slight advantage here with about 100 metres to go, and Dan Lee's got the George Rider. Dan Lee went on to win it from Dow. King Mufasa third. Close for fourth, Palacio to Crystal or El Segundo. Then Heart of Dreams, followed by Vision and Power and Tickets and Mr. Baritone.
I'm sure a lot of the people that had horses, fillies in against Typhoon Tracy were hoping that they would have taken on males in the rider with her. It was not to be, and instead we get a very big finish from Dan Lee, who scores the win over Dow with King Mufasa, who was third in this race last year, settling for the third once again here. The winner, Dan Lee, is possible for the Group 1 Doncaster at the end of April, going the about distance of 1 mile, and obviously that is a big key race, a major point race a lot of horses will be focusing on. Dan Lee is a 6-year-old gelded son of Mujahid from Graceful Lily by Dr. Grace. Trained by Chris Waller and ridden to victory by Hugh Bowman, Dan Lee covers the about distance of 7.5 furlongs and 130.27. And of course, the Rose Hill big meeting here in the beginning of April is highlighted by the richest 2-year-old race in the world. This, of course, the AAMI Golden Slipper, $3.2 million for the juveniles.
And we're about to get underway for the richest 2-year-old race in the world. Ready to go. They're off and racing. And More Strawberries jumped okay today. Solar Charged and Georgette Silk were the best out. Chance Buyers going along the fence to take them on for the lead. Crystal Lily just settling off them, followed by Obsequious and Bright Expectations in the centre. Military Rose getting back to midfield, being passed by Decision Time. And then Hinchinbrook, followed by Beneteau and Lohan, Carved in Stone Melambari. More Strawberries has come over onto the fence. She goes to third last, and Shahek last of all. The filly Solar Charged led out from another filly, Chance Buy. And Crystal Lily is right on their hammer in third spot. Obsequious on the outside from Georgette Silk. So 5 fillies lead the field around the home turn. Then Decision Time. Military Rose is starting to pick up ground. Bright Expectations is under a lot of pressure, followed by Hinchinbrook, and then came Lohan. It's Solar Charged in front as they turn. Chance Buy and Crystal Lily's coming on the scene very quickly. Then came Decision Time, Obsequious, and Beneteau's right down the outside. Crystal Lily took the lead from Solar Charged. She's running off the track. Crystal Lily, Solar Charged hampered on the outside. Oh, Crystal Lily's running to the outside fence. Decision Time up along the inside. Crystal Lily has won the Golden Slipper and beaten Decision Time and More Strawberries. Then came in behind them Hinchinbrook from Beneteau, Carved in Stone and Shahek from Obsequious and Chance Buy.
Crystal Lily scores the victory, and this was kind of an interesting decision. It was a late decision on the $150,000 late entry fee off of a win last time out in the Sweet Embrace Stakes in March. They decided that they were going to take a shot with this 2-year-old filly, and it certainly has paid off quite well. A nice performance as she scores over the 2-year-old gelding Decision Time with More Strawberries back in the third spot. This was obviously this is a significant race. It is kind of the equivalent of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Very important race, a huge purse, and the Slipper has been a destination race for 2-year-olds for many years. Crystal Lily, despite veering rather dramatically to the left, still running a little bit greenly, scores strongly. Crystal Lily is a 2-year-old daughter of Stratum, who won the Golden Slipper himself out of Crystal Snip by Snippets. He's owned by David Moody and trained by Matthew Ellerton and Simon Zara, ridden to victory by Brett Preble. Crystal Lily covers the about distance of 6 furlongs and 110.78. We'll round things out now by heading back to Randwick Racecourse for a trio of stakes run on April 10th. We'll start things out with the TJ Smith for sprinters.
And they're ready to go. Often racing, Lord Tavistock missed the start from the inside. Patronym came out very fast and took up the early lead. Hot Danish racing up into second spot and Wanted Handy on the outside in third. Setting behind them is Mick Mac, followed by Melito. 2 or 3 lengths to Lord Tavistock and Metal Bender back last of all. They're not really going all that hard in the early stages. Patronym led by 3/4 on Hot Danish and Wanted sitting outside it in third spot. Mick Mac in a good position behind them fourth, and it's moved away from Melito, who's fifth, followed by Lord Tavistock. And Metal Bender, the stayer, back at the rear of the field, about 7 or 8 lengths off the lead. And the leader is Patronym. All these riders are steering away from the inside. Hot Danish outside it and Wanted at its quarters third. Then came the favourite Mick Mac, followed by Melito, Lord Tavistock and Metal Bender. Patronym stuck away at the top of the straight, led by 2 on Hot Danish. Wanted's coming right out towards the centre of the track. Mick Mac's going for a run in the middle, and then came Melito. Patronym still in front on the outside. Hot Danish is about to get level. Hot Danish put ahead in front of Patronym. Down the outside, Melito is the blouser. It's Melito moving up to hit the lead, and Melito in an upset went on to win it from either Hot Danish or Mick Mac. And then came Wanted, followed by Patronym. Further back behind them, Metal Bender.
Melito picking up the victory over Hot Danish, a relatively short field. A couple of years ago, we had a tremendous group of Australian sprinters. Several of them have kind of fallen by the wayside right now, but nonetheless, it was a competitive field, but not one of the strongest fields of Australian sprinters we've seen. But a nice performance by the 3-year-old Melito, a nice 3-year-old filly, in fact, beating some of the older males in here, and in fact earning herself a berth in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, as this race is a win and you're in performance. It was a bit of a late decision for them to enter her. She picked up her first Group 1 victory with this effort, and she is now considered a candidate for the All-Age Stakes, where she might take on Typhoon Tracy. Melito is a 3-year-old daughter of Redoubt's Choice from Cloister by Marauding. Owned by John and David Ripon, trained by Gerald Ryan, and ridden to victory by Blake Shin, Melito covers the about distance of 6 in 109.21. Next up, 2-year-olds going 7 in the Produce Stakes.
Maybe some trouble out wide here. Now they're set, racing. Jose missed the start. Scorus missed the start as well. Skill came out fast, and so did Turak Toff. And Black Ball starting to roll forward. So Black Ball, in fact, took the lead from Turak Toff, and then came going forward Skilled, and More Strawberries right up on the speed today. In fact, she's vying for the lead, More Strawberries. Hinchinbrook going up behind it, followed by Legalistic, and at the head of the others next is Jose. Divorce is getting back to midfield, just over racing a touch, and so is Mafia Miss. 2 lengths to Gold Arena, and then Scorist, and last of all is Hidden Kisses. They run down the side past the 800 metres. Skilled just in front of the stablemate Black Ball. Hinchinbrook's come up along the fence into third spot, and then came More Strawberries, followed by Jose. Turak Toff is sitting in 6th spot, out a little bit wide but with some cover, and then came Legalistic. Divorces is next, followed by Mafia Miss and Gold Arena. Hidden Kisses is next, and last of all is Scorist. Well, Hinchinbrook has saved every inch of ground to go through and put his head in front as they turn for home. It's Hinchinbrook just the leader from Skilled on the outside, and Jose. Then came Black Ball. More Strawberries looking for a run. Turak Toff is winding up down the centre of the track. Hinchinbrook is grabbed here by out wide on the track. Turak Toff. Jose getting up along the rail. It's Jose and Turak Toff putting their heads in front. On the outside, Turak Toff and Jose. The other two are coming back in the centre. Skilled is raising another effort. They hit the line photo. Jose or Skilled, who came again. Turak Toff and Hinchinbrook are in the photo for third. And then came Divorces, followed by More Strawberries.
Jose, she was kept out of the running of the Slipper, specifically pointing for this $276,000 Group 1. Made it very well worth passing up on the $3.2 million, I suppose, when she scored the victory here very impressively in a very close finish. Short head over Skilled with Hinchinbrook back in the third spot. More Strawberries, who had finished well to finish third in the Slipper, not so much here, running 7th in the field of 12. The winner, Jose, is a 2-year-old filly, a daughter of Invincible Spirit from Fuji Ferry by Fuji Kiseki. She's trained by Stuart Webb and ridden to victory by Michelle Payne, who is the first woman to win a Group 1 at Randwick. Under Michelle Payne, Jose covers the about 7 furlongs in 123.56. And we will round things out now on this edition of International Horses and Courses by heading back to Randwick and the Australian Derby for $1.2 million.
They're all set. Just waiting for Landlocked to stand up better. They're off in the Derby. And missing the start was Saint Encosta. He's come out about 2 lengths behind them. Last of all, Extra Zero. Cedarburg began well. Rock Classic's right up there in the early stages, and so is Desperado. There's some favourites. The Braves is going up underneath them into about 4th or 5th spot, followed by Suyama. Then Monaco Consul and Home on a Wing, followed by Sherpa Tenzing. Shootout settling behind them, followed by Keep the Peace, who's worked over onto the fence. Landlocked is further back, followed by Handsome Zulu. And Saint Encosta, after missing the start, will remain at the rear of the field. It's a dawdle in the early stages, and Cedarburg takes him to the 1800 in front. Rock Classic moving up to its quarters in second position. Desperado and Extra Zero are tracking the leaders, with Desperado out a little bit wide. Bowman's got Zabrasiv back on the rail in 5th spot, so he's getting a good run in the early stages. Then came Suyama, who's out deep, followed by Home and a Wing. Monaco Consul in the centre from Sherpa Tenzing, and then Keep the Peace and Shootout. And well back was Handsome Zulu, Landlocked and Saint Encosta last of all. It's a trot and canter down the back. In fact, he can cross the trot out because they're absolutely cantering. 1400 to go. Cedarburg half on Rock Classic will probably be suited by the slow tempo. Desperado striding up on the outside to get in a little bit closer, but he's still out about 3 wide. He might try and go up into second spot in a moment. Then Zabrasiv running 4th from Extra Zero, 2 lengths to Home and a Wing. Then came Suyama, followed by Monaco Consul in the centre. 2.5 to Sherpa Tenzing. The filly Keep the Pieces over on the inside from Shootout, who's a mile off the lead, and then came further back Saint Encosta, and then came Landlocked and Handsome Zulu last of all. Down the side in the Derby, 800 to go. Leader Cedarburg, Desperado straight up into second spot. Rock Classic behind them with Extra Zero. He's pulling his head off going around the outside. Zabrasiv still poised in 5th spot. Then Home and a Wing and Monaco Consul. Some moves coming from the back now. Is Landlocked taking off. Suyama's in that group as well. Shootout looking for a run in the centre from Sherpa Tenzing, Keep the Peace. And Handsome Zulu is back last of all. Here they come in the Derby around the home turn. And Cedarburg and Rock Classic are headed by Desperado on the outside. Zabrasiv got a bump, but now he's into the clear out after the leader. And then Extra Zero on the outside. Desperado led at the 200. Zabrasiv a neck away coming up at his inside, and Shootouts into the clear. And storming home is Monaco Consul down the outside. Here's a thrilling Derby. Shootout, doesn't he love Randwick? He hit the lead, and Shootout wins the Derby. Beat Desperado, Photo third, Monaco Consul or Zabrasiv, and then a gap in the field after those to Extra Zero, followed by Home and a Wing.
Shootout getting the victory. He had scored in the Randwick Guineas, was 4th in the Rosehill Guineas, but here turns the tables and scores the victory over a Desperado, with Monaco Consul, the winner of the Victoria Derby, running in the 3rd spot. A very nice effort by Shootout, who had obviously been facing some pretty nice horses over the course of the entire season. He was only a $15,000 purchase and has now won the $1.2 million Derby at Randwick. The winner, Shootout, a son of High Chaparral, a 3-year-old gelding by High Chaparral from Pentamouris by Pintier, is kind of an interesting leader here, in that the top 3 were all sons of High Chaparral. This is a very unusual and certainly notable accomplishment for the young stallion High Chaparral, who some in Europe were questioning whether or not he was going to really end up turning out to be a big sire, but it does look as though the Australians very, very happy with his recent performances and are arranging to have more of the services of High Chaparral serving the southern hemisphere mares. High Chaparral the sire, Pentamouris the dam from Pentire. Shootout, trained by John Wallace and ridden to victory by Stathi Castidis, scores the victory 1.25 miles on the turf in 1.5 miles on the turf in 2:32.68. That'll wrap up a busy edition of this International Horses and Courses. We hope you've enjoyed the program. We will have the opportunity to bring you more great racing action from overseas throughout the course of the coming months here on the OTB network. Thank you very much for joining us, and we hope you'll be able to join us again next time. Until then, I'm Jean Wood. Have a great day at the races.